This is Mr. Fun Size Marco Stunt, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially on Fite TV. This is Wrestling Cheers. We'd like to talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a preview episode for this Friday's AIW's show, JT Lightning Invitational Tournament 2019 Day 1. Can't really preview Day 2 just yet. Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by the Trending Topics Network, Midwest Territory, and Key on Sports. I am your host. I am Justin Summers. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I said, we will be previewing Friday's AIW show, the Day 1 of the annual JLIT tournament. And with me this week, we have Rick.
Greetings, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's always a fun JLIT weekend ahead of us.
I love JLIT. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year.
Like, I'm sad that it's not the regular Memorial Day, but just for me, because I have nothing else to compare, like, to associate it with, it still feels like JLIT weekend, just because it's not on Memorial Day.
It feels a little bit different, but you know what? 3 shows in 2 days, it's a haul, and I think people just like having that extra day to kind of recover from it. Yeah. But, you and I were not big drinkers at the show anyway, so I think we'll get through just fine.
And we also have Stacy.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, because it's been so long since I've been on.
Thank you. How many in a row are you on now?
And at least 3, I think.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
I think it's been 3.
We will be breaking that streak somewhat. Basically, a little programming note, because there's a lot of show, we're not going to preview the whole weekend. We can't really preview Day 2 of the JLIT tournament. So we will be doing Day 1, and that will be released as you're listening to this today, Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to have the Chandler Bacons Memorial Tag Team Tournament preview, because that's the only other thing that we can preview. And if we sat there and recorded an episode previewing all this, like, I'm being very serious, we're talking like a 3-hour episode. Let's just divide it up, and you can finish this on Thursday and come back Friday. Maybe even come back for Saturday on your way to the Chandler Bacons Memorial Tag Team Tournament. So, 24 person tournament, and we're going to do a little bit different format. Normally with previews, we pick 3, and then we do all the picks after that. Well, there's a lot of matches, and we're going to just kind of skip all of that, but we're just going to go through all of them, make our picks, and talk a little bit about the match and like what we're looking forward to and what we obviously see coming. So we're going to break this down in order of the bracket, starting at the top and working our way to the bottom. So up at the top, the very first match in bracket A, Louis Lyndon versus Kid Cash. Stacy, I'm pretty sure you are excited for Kid Cash.
Man, I'm excited for anybody who was in ECW, even if your gimmick was on Kid Rock. But I'm excited for Kid Cash. I gets the Louis Lyndon spot, so I don't know. He's pushing 50. We'll see what he can do.
I mean, Marty Jannetty went last year.
He sure fucking did. I think we might get a little bit better than what Marty was able to give us out of Kid Cash.
What do you think about this match, Rick?
Well, I marked out like crazy when I saw the graphic for Kid Cash. huge ECW mark. Probably the only guy that would make me mark more would be if Simon Diamond ever decided to come out of retirement and take Thorne's invitation for a meet and greet. Just like Stacy said, he gets the Lewis Linden spot. Good for him. Hopefully he beats Lewis Linden, because I can't bear to sit through that many more Lewis Linden matches. I think regardless of what happens, we're going to get to see Cash for both nights. I don't think Thorne brings him in just for one night. Have you seen any of the pictures of Kid Cash? He's a friggin' monster. Dude's huge. And the guy was still wrestling, last year, 2017. Still putting on pretty good shows. I think he's going to surprise us.
I hope.
Not really huge on Kid Cash. And I mean, Linden, I've always seen him. But if we're going to talk about picks, I'll go with Kid Cash. I think he gets the win, goes on to the second round. What do you think, Stacy?
Kid Cash, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kid Cash as well.
Next up, well, we keep both members of Aeroform in back-to-back brackets. We have KTB versus Flip Kendrick. We all love KTB.
He's from the woods.
From the woods.
From the fucking woods. And if I'm correct, I've been told he has great ass merch.
He's got pretty good merch.
This is kind of
a but it's fine.
This is kind of a merch heavy bracket because we have someone else towards the end here who's also really good merch. But we killed that to death. What do you think about that?
Oh, jeez. Oh, this is KTB, man. KTB wins this match, but it's going to be really good because every time I've seen KTB wrestle a guy who's like faster and smaller, it's always really fucking good. Because KTB, if he's in there with somebody who works fast, can go fast.
Yeah.
So it's going to be KTB, and it's going to be a fucking maybe the best match in round one.
What are your thoughts on this match, Rick?
Yeah, I think KTB goes over for sure. I think that guy's on a roll. I mean, he's been. We've only had him for 6 months, 8 months. It only seems like, but he's gotten to be pretty much a regular at most AIW shows. I see this guy everywhere now. I do hear, like you said, he has some great merch, but I think we see the Flipper and Linden maybe on Saturday night, maybe tagging back up since we're putting former tag teams back together with Euthanasia. Maybe we see those guys both take L's and then get together on Saturday to try to get back in the win column.
I like where you're thinking there. I kind of thought that myself when I was filling out my bracket.
Yeah, I'm gonna go KTB too. He's definitely someone who's been on a roll. Like, I don't know his exact record in AIW, but fucking he's killed it every time, and sometimes that's how wrestlers start out in AIW, and then next thing you know, they're winning championships. We got everybody's pick on that one, right?
Yep, from the woods.
Speaking of KTB opponents that are very short, we have what's going to be my favorite match of the night, and I've gotten shit for it already. Marco Stunt making his AIW debut against my nemesis, some people would say, Tim Donst. I'm highly looking forward to this match, not just because I get to actually finally see Marco Stunt wrestle live, not because I get to see one of my favorite wrestlers go up against the dude that I like to boo against, but I don't know, just fucking Donst. Okay. He always puts on, I can't say always, but he has a lot of good matches, a lot of good rivalries, a lot of good shit with him. And basically we talk about a lot of measuring sticks in AIW. Donst is one of them. I heard Thorne say on the podcast, he's the Roman Reigns of AIW, and I kind of agree. So, yeah, really looking forward to this. But I'll throw out my pick now. As much as I would love to see Marco advance and go to the next round, I see other things for Marco day 2, so that's where I'm going to put it. Donst wins. What do you guys think of this match? Start with Rick.
The big dog, Tim Donst. I could see it exactly the way that you just said. Having said that, I'm going to pick Marco. I think I picked him in my bracket. I just, maybe we overthink this stuff when we start thinking about, second round. Well, you could see KTB and Marco back in the same ring at the same time. Both of them were kind of put farther on the map by that match that they had earlier. Do we want to rehash history a little bit? What do we want to do? I know it's a 4-way, but you get some interesting pairings. But then again, to Donst is always there. He's always winning. He's always around. You know, one of the things I like about these JLIT tournaments is there's so many matches that you can make a definite case for either way. This is going to be one of them, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Marco to advance. How about you, Stacy?
Man, do you even have to ask? Tim fucking Donst is going to win.
Oh, I thought you were gonna pick Marco. That's what I figured.
Oh yeah, no, you figured wrong, friend. Tim fucking Donst wins.
If I put on Facebook, I wonder who I'm going to root for, and everyone says Tim Donst, I'm going to do the same psychology for you. Go against exactly who you're going to root for, or who you got winning here. But then again, I'm rooting for Stunt, but I LOL Donst wins. That's what I've said for a while. But other than that, it's just Donst hasn't sniffed the title in how long? And as much as I might not like
year,
as much as I might not like it sometimes, still entertaining.
Oh man, Tim Donst is great, and he's going to win. I don't know how that little fellow even, that's not even a thing. Obviously, Tim Donst.
Next up, we have Danhausen versus Matt Justice. Motherfucker.
Man.
Yeah, this one for you, Stacy. Who the fuck you picking?
Man, well, I mean, so
in
Danhausen up a lot on this podcast. Can't pick against Justice, man. It's this is like Matt Justice's fucking year. It's Justice.
It's like Justice.
Danhausen in the process.
It's like Justice's 2 years that he's been on. Since his return to AIW, it's just better and better and better.
Yeah. Matt Justice for sure. This is going to be a really good match too. Danhausen in a lot of singles matches. And this is going to be a fucking good one.
How about you, Rick?
I'm picking Justice in this match. I think he's just too tough, and the 4-way scramble kind of stuff is built for Justice. I already have a bracket that was submitted to me for the JLIT contest, which has Danhausen winning it. You start to think outside the box. Danhausen wins JLIT. Eddie and Derek win the Chandler Biggins Cup. Maybe it could be a good production weekend. Having said that, I think Justice is just too crazy on too big of a roll right now. He still has the Satan belt, and, that's enough to get him through.
Man, if there ever should have been a match for Blackcraft Wrestling for that Satan belt, it's this Justice Danhausen match. Man, they dropped the fucking ball over there when they didn't bring Danhausen in.
I don't know if they even exist anymore.
Man, that's Satan belt.
Justice, yeah, I got my photo with it. Justice has the belt. That's all that matters.
Whenever we're done, we'll pick a final winner. But the pick that I want to throw out now is early in the year in January, we had just early bird predictions. We did Gauntlet and JLIT. The only person that got Gauntlet right was Stacy. And JLIT, Stacy also picked Matt Justice, as did I. Which we'll get to later if that is his pick now or not. But we'll see. For me, I gotta go Justice. I love Danhausen. And at the same time, who's to say that Danhausen's not maybe with the production in maybe a 6-man tag match night 2. And then if I'm correct, you guys both picked Justice too, right?
Oh yeah, unanimous Justice.
Justice.
Have we picked identical straight down the board?
No, I picked Marco.
Yeah, you're the only one that picked Marco.
Yep.
That's what I thought. All right, and we'll do it a little bit differently. We'll go to a small inspirational ad, and we'll be right back with bracket 2.
You wake up every morning, get yourself out of bed, and look in the mirror, and realize that you don't recognize the person looking back at you. You don't feel as whole as you should. You feel about half empty. You get in your car and go about your daily activities, and you think about all the opportunities that you missed. Opportunities you didn't take. Doors you left closed instead of open. You think about all the things that you could have done and the things that you chose to do instead. Well, that's where I come in. My name is Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and I am not only a motivational speaker, but I am a personal development coach, and my 3 principle system has changed the lives of countless people all over the world. I invite all of you to stay with me today and listen as I help you change your lives and give all of you a new beginning.
All right, we're going to start into bracket 2. I like this one. MJF versus Savio Vega. Fucking, what are the odds that MJF mentions Bruiser Brody?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wasn't Savio around that time? I'm just trying to get inside his head of what he would say, and that's like the top thing that comes to my mind. Whether he would do and say that.
Yeah, maybe. MJF's a young fella. He might not even know who Savio Vega is.
That's factual.
That is true too.
I'm excited for Savio Vega.
Yeah, me too. Anybody seen how or what kind of shape he's in now?
Nope. We know that John Thorne has been chasing him for years. So who knows? The jury is out.
I don't know if it matters what kind of shape he's in.
It doesn't. I don't think it does either. You're right.
I'm just trying to put a mental picture of what I think he's going to look like, and then see if he impresses me or it's what I expect.
I don't even know what I expect is the problem.
Yeah, I haven't seen Savio Vega or like seen a picture of what Savio Vega looks like for any time in like the last decade. So who knows?
You know what I'm picturing when I think of Savio Vega? Like, I know what Savio Vega looked like, back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you ever watch Saturday Night Live and Kenan Thompson does like an old man character?
Yeah.
And all they do to him is like they put a little bit of white in his hair. That's what I picture Savio Vega is going to be. He's just going to be the same guy with just a little bit of white in his hair, a little bit of gray.
Yeah. If I'm gonna put down a pick, I'm gonna go MJF. How about you, Rick?
I'm gonna go Savio Vega just because John Thorne has been looking for Savio Vega forever, and I don't think there's any way that John only lets him hang around for one night.
How about you, Stacy?
Oh, I have MJF. I think Savio can still be around on night 2 and not have to be matches taxing as that 4-way match would be. Savio, I said Kid Cash is pushing 50. Savio has eclipsed 50. Yeah, I don't know. Did see Savio Vega, but I don't think he can beat MJF. MJF wins it.
And in the Kurt Hawkins buddy matchup, we have Pat Buck versus Hornswoggle. I'm not too familiar with Pat Buck other than the whole Ryback podcast shit. And even that, I didn't listen, but I knew that he was a part of the show.
Oh man, he's on the Ryback podcast?
He was at one point, I guess. Like,
I've never listened to it. I've just read the Rycaps.
Do you know anything about this, Rick?
I know nothing about Pat Buck other than his relationship with Hawkins and so forth. I know nothing about Pat Buck. I'm anxious to see him because he looks like a monster in size.
Yeah, and he's a dude that's been around for a long time. I think
having said that, he's a monster, so Swoggle will probably beat him. Probably tap him out. God, I hope not.
Just looking actually at this bracket of what the potential people that could wind up in round 2 is some fun shit. I'm gonna go Swoggle. How about you, Stacy?
Man, I would love to go Swoggle. But I'm going with Pat Buck. I'm with Rick. He looks like a monster in that picture, and yeah, Pat Buck. Through. There you go.
There you go. I'm going Swoggle. I just think that this middle, these brackets are put together just very odd to me. Like this middle bracket, I just picture it being like the kind of oddball second round. I've already picked Savio Vega to go through. Might as well add Swoggle to the mix.
Next up, we have Lee Moriarty versus Colt Cabana. If I'm correct, this is Lee Moriarty's second announced singles matchup in AIW, his debut in the JLIT tournament, and he's going up against Colt Cabana. Big spot, big moment for him. And who doesn't love a Colt Cabana match? Don't answer that, because I'm pretty sure there are people out there who don't like Colt Cabana matches, but that's what's supposed to be a rhetorical question. What are your thoughts on this, Stacy?
Oh man, how good is it for Lee that he gets Colt Cabana? It's gonna be a really good match. I've never seen Lee in like a comedy match, don't know how that's going to be, but I'm excited to see it. However, I think Colt Cabana wins.
How about you, Rick?
Is this going to be a comedy match? I mean, or are we going to get like NWA champion Colt Cabana in this one? You know, what are we looking at? But, you know, I agree with, probably.
Brings that ugly belt.
I'm picking Cabana just to go with the theme of a second round match with Savio Vega, Swoggle, and Colt Cabana. So we got to go Colt Cabana just in the hopes that this happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go Colt Cabana. Next up, we have Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham versus Mance Warner. I don't know what to say about this match. I'm speechless. The return maybe of Dr. Deathmatch, going up against that brutal style of Mance Warner. This is going to be so good. I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna say Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. How about you, Stacy?
Man, you're picking Dr. Dan to beat Mance Warner.
I'm not saying it's going to be fair.
Ah, man. So, is going to beat the shit out of Dr. Dan. You know what I want to see? Is I want to see Manser staple one of those pamphlets to Dan's tongue. And really, you think Dan's going to win? Dan was just pretty brutal. Like, he gave Joey Ryan, he beat Joey Ryan, gave him a below the belt paper cut. So, I mean, who knows? Death match, but I can't pick against old Manser.
We got Parker Pierce that could potentially be involved. Duke could be involved. Maybe the Duke screws up, hits Mance with the boot, costs him the match. If it's a straight up 1-on-1, no interference, no bullshit. Oh yeah, Mance Warner all day. But I think Mance is going to find some bad shit, but it won't be his fault. How about you, Rick?
I think this is that sneaky 15-2 matchup in the NCAA tournament where you go, there's no way a number 2 seed's going to get knocked off by a 15. Then they keep it close through the third quarter into the fourth quarter, and something goes crazy. I'm also going to pick Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham to pull the upset here. Of the brackets that I'm getting in early, probably 60% of the brackets have Mance Warner winning the whole damn thing. I think that this match is a red herring. I think it's there to throw us off the trail of Mance Warner. I think the second bracket is the comedy bracket. So we're going to get that Savio Vega, Swoggle, Cabana, DCR matchup. Can you imagine how ridiculous that thing is going to look in the second round? I'm going to pick DCR as well.
So I meant to bring it up early in the show, but explain everything about the brackets that people are sending you.
Oh, we're doing a little thing on mostly on Twitter. I guess Facebook is fine too. We're doing a hashtag JLIT contest. All you got to do is send in a bracket. You can get the empty brackets anywhere. My Twitter has it, AIW, obviously, or just steal somebody else's and white out a couple names, whatever you want to do. And we're getting a lot of guys that are sending me messages, donating prizes for the winner. It's a March Madness style, a point for the first round, 2 points for the second, 4 points if you pick the winner, highest score wins. The only, the only thing is you either have to be in attendance, you got to buy a ticket to sometime during the weekend, or you got to buy it on Fite TV to participate. So you buy a ticket or you watch the show live on Fite TV. You can participate. We've already got like Philly and Merino headbands have been donated. I got a copy of the Steve Guy, Memoirs of a Wingman. He's going to autograph for us. We got a 4-pack of toilet paper autographed by Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. That's going to go in the prize package. We got a shout out from Ed and Pat over on Pod Van Dam, which is a lot of fun. And we're going to do whoever wins this thing, we're going to do a cameo video from a celebrity, and you can't see my air quotes, but I'm using air quotes around the word celebrity. Because if you've been on Cameo, you've seen that there's a lot of quasi-celebrities on there who will be congratulating you on your 2019 JLIT bracket win. Stacy Silvers already has some great ideas for Cameo celebrities. And there's probably going to be another 6, 7, 8 prizes that are going to get included in this bad boy before the whole thing's done. some of it's good stuff, some of it's tongue-in-cheek stuff, easy for me to say, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just throw your bracket in, hashtag JLIT contest. You can tag me if you want at RickNelson21. So I see it, I put a little hearty like on it, so I know that I saw it, and it's just fun. We're just having a good,
yeah.
Trying to spread the love and get your picks in. Everybody likes to do brackets for everything. Brackets are fun, right?
Oh yeah. Let's add a prize right here.
What do you got?
On behalf of Wrestling Cheers, if you win, you get a free paid front row seat to Absolution.
Whoa, that's a big addition. On behalf of whoever wins this, and it won't be me because I'm obviously not eligible to win.
Yeah.
I want to thank you in advance for that, because that's a big prize to go out of pocket for. So that's awesome.
We've have a history on this show of giving out tickets, and haven't done it in a while. I always want it to be something meaningful, or hey, go give us a review and we'll give some free shit out. But one of the ones that was always my favorite was I think I got this from Biggins, where I remember we gave away tickets for some show, but it had to be for somebody, or the only people who could win is someone who had never been to an AIW show. So you could, if you had been to an AIW show, as long as you promised to give that to a friend who's never been to one, and it's kind of like, hey, I got you a free ticket, let's go.
Yeah.
So I like to do crazy shit like that. So yeah, let's do a paid front row seat at APSO. So that was all of that bracket. And then, well, I guess we'll be right back after this second paid advertisement.
I'm glad to see that no one has left. But now you're asking yourself, Dr. Dan, are you going to tell us what the DCR system is? And I will tell you now. The 3 simple principles that change everyone's lives: dedication, confidence, and respect. D, C, and R. If one is dedicated to themselves, confident in oneself, and respectful of oneself, there is nothing that they cannot accomplish. Those 3 principles are the building blocks of anything you wish to achieve. If you just remember D, C, and R, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. But sometimes you feel that isn't enough. Sometimes you need to be a little more focused on the task at hand. But don't worry. To go along with dedication, confidence, and respect, you can always remember rule number 1.
All right, third and final bracket. This one, just kind of looking at this, you might have this might be the badass bracket. We start things off with Eric Stevens versus Dominic Guarini, and I'll openly admit I'm not brushed up too much on Eric Stevens, but I know as soon as he got announced, that's who Dom started posting on Twitter, that's who he wanted, so he gets it. Stacy, I think you're more familiar with him than obviously I am.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he was a Ring of Honor guy.
Yeah. I thought I read that
thousands.
Yeah, like he when I was like quit or whatever. The last time he was in Ring of Honor was 2010. I started following 2011, right. So like current stuff, I just missed him.
Yeah, it was during a time where I wasn't actively watching Ring of Honor, so I've only seen him like going back and watching stuff. So I was like, 2010 probably is around the last time that he was there. But yeah, this match is going to be really good though. Whenever Dom gets to wrestle somebody that he really wants to wrestle.
How about you, Rick?
I know nothing of Eric Stevens, therefore I have to pick Dominic.
I think I'll pick Dom too. It's kind of the same thing of not knowing much about Eric Stevens. Potentially see him in day 2 as well at some point. Thing that we got to mention too, and I think it's going to be important to this part of the bracket, is Filthy Tom Lawler will be at JLIT, and at night 2 he will defend the Absolute Championship against somebody. That's all we know. Who's your pick on this, Stacy?
Oh, Dom. Dom is.
Next up, we have a rematch of one of the best matches of 7-Year Itch. Eddie Kingston and Zach Thomas. Eddie Kingston winning Gauntlet for the Gold kind of doesn't really need to have another title shot, but he has the opportunity. And fucking Zach Thomas is a dude who we've talked about so many times of, I want to say the great year he's had of just getting better and better and becoming that much more of a badass. This is going to be a crazy fucking match. I'm going to go Eddie Kingston. How about you, Stacy?
I'm going Eddie Kingston for sure. This is the other match in the first round, like for night one, that I think has the potential to be the match of the night. Real tough, stiff, the shit out of each other match, but Eddie Kingston wins.
How about you, Rick?
I think Zach Thomas is developing a real mean streak as he's progressing. I think exactly what you guys said. Two guys are just going to beat the living crap out of each other. In my bracket, I have Kingston advancing, so I guess I'm going to stick with that, but it would not surprise me at all to see Zach Thomas get the win here. Next
up, we have No Consequences. I don't know what you want to say. That's just the bitterness between them, whatever. Joshua Bishop versus Trey Lamar. And of course, Joshua Bishop is going to have the one and only Wes Barkley corner. For this one, I got to go with Joshua Bishop. How about you, Rick?
I'm going to go Bishop too, but it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Trey has a fella that's absent in the tournament, PB Smooth, hanging around. Now that him and AJ and Trey are a cohesive unit, who's to say that PB Smooth doesn't come down there to counteract Mr. Maserati West? But I think Bishop and all the stuff he's been through lately, he's just going to be way too tough for Trey.
How about you, Stacy?
Man, how can you bet against Josh Bishop? But the fucking year he's having, there's no way. Trey's good. Trey's really good. This match will be really good. But there's no way he beats Bishop. And the fact that Wes Barkley can interfere, that's a stacked deck. And I get that, with 40 acres, he could have PB there. He could have AJ Gray out there. But, man, it's Josh Bishop. Bishop wins.
AJ Gray might be a little occupied, depending on where this match falls on the card and where the next match falls on the card. Nick fucking Gage versus AJ Gray. The King, Nick fucking Gage, which the only other wrestler that was picked to win JLIT of the people that were on for the show, the episode back in January, was Nick Gage by Dustin Alberti and Caden. So I'm curious to see what happens with this. We've seen AJ Gray go up against Justice, and we saw what happened there. Like, AJ Gray can kick some fucking ass. But if I'm picking anybody, I gotta go with Nick fucking Gage all day. How about you, Rick?
I think this is the second possible trap match of the night, where this is another one where 90% of the people are just going to write down Gage in the bracket and not even think about it. What happens if AJ Gray pulls the upset and then Nick Gage puts his hat in the ring to try to challenge Filthy Tom for the AIW title, on night 2, gets out of the tournament so he can get that title shot instead. You just never know. Gage is a smart guy, but, he's been known to be a little underhanded at times. So, I got to pick Gage because I can't see AJ Gray being able to handle Gage's style. Man, I could definitely see this one being just a trap.
What about you, Stacy?
Man, so I try not to things, right? AJ Gray is a beast. I know that I've seen Nick Gage, someone with the skill set that AJ has, the agility and the strength. And I try not to overthink it in like, oh, what could the ideas be for day 2? I try to just look at this as like a one wrestling match. I got to pick Gage. I think Nick Gage wins. I don't know what AJ Gray can do. I don't know. Nick Gage is if there's anything AJ Gray can do to overcome Nick Gage in this match. Plus, I think looking at it the other way, I think, if all 3 members of 40 Acres don't have any involvement in the tournament in day 2, that makes them more available to do other things.
What if day 2 we see 40 Acres versus the production?
Oh,
that would be a fun one.
That would be a great match, and it works out with my bracket.
Do we get your pick for this, Rick?
Yeah, I got Gage.
Okay, go. Who do you guys have as your final winner? Start with Stacy.
So the three guys that I have going in, Manser, which holy fuck, what kind of match is that? That's amazing. And I have Mance winning the whole thing. I'm part of that 60% of people who've submitted their brackets with Mance winning. I think at some point in the whole thing, the Josh and Matt stuff, their rivalry will make an opportunity for Mance to be able to take advantage of it and get a win.
How about you, Rick?
I think Matt Justice is just too tough to stop right now. I think he is on a major, major roll that eventually is going to see him take the AIW title off of whoever may hold it, whether it's Lawler or Kingston or whoever the heck it is. I have Matt Justice to win the whole thing.
I'm also going to go with Matt Justice winning the whole thing, kind of just backing up my early prediction in the year. Haven't filled out a bracket yet, so I haven't figured out how that would fall, that would happen. But with the run that Matt Justice has had, I could easily see him win. Maybe he beats Bishop, maybe he doesn't. But if he would beat Bishop to win it, wouldn't that make him a number one contender back up to the Intense Championship? I think he could win, but still continue the feud with Bishop. So that's pretty much all our thoughts, really quick, about as quick as we could do, for day one of the JLIT tournament. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go? Or let's do final thoughts on the JLIT as a whole. Start with Stacy.
Man, JLIT is one of my favorite weekends of the year, period. Not just like wrestling weekends, but like out of all 52, JLIT's like weekends of the year for me. The Friday night is a long night. Saturday, you don't really have to be back at the building till 3 p.m. This year, we're not doing the tailgate before, I don't think, because of the parking lot. But it's for a good reason. It's to commemorate two people who were incredibly important wrestling, with the Biggins Cup on day 2 and with the JT Lightning tournament. Man, it's a good time. The after parties are a lot of fun. The shows are always really good. I have never once been to a JLIT and been like, oh man, I wish I hadn't gone. Like, it's always a good time. The show that got me to start coming to AIW, so weekend, and everybody should bring their asses out to the Odeon.
How about you, Rick?
Yeah, it is one of the most fun, I'll say, wrestling weekends of the year. Probably, the only thing that tops it is, that craziness and independent wrestling that is the Mania week. But as far as local is concerned, it's a great venue. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. You're right there on the water, so it's going to be a nice backdrop for wrestling. The Odeon is a great place to watch wrestling. It's also a good weekend to kind of mingle, get to know people, say hi to people you've never said hi to before. You're going to be sharing, this space with people for, basically a day and a half. We're going to be hanging out indoors for, the better part of, 18, 20 hours. So, say hi to people you barely know, get to know some new people. It's it's a whole community thing. We've always been given compliments from people from out of town about what a great community AIW has in the Cleveland area. It's a time to show what we're made of. You get to see the official debuts of all the students at the Chandler Biggins tag team tournament, and you just never know what'll happen. You never know who will show up. You never know who's going to win these things. It's going to be a great weekend. Buy some tickets.
And man, night 2 always has, like you were talking about surprises, like night 2 always has some weird shit that you're like, man, I never thought I would see that. I didn't even know I wanted to see that, but I'm really glad I saw that.
Thorne responded to Pod Van Dam Ed on Twitter, and he said, Ed had said something about not, he probably wasn't going to come to night 2. And Thorne says, just so you know, we have some murders planned for night 2. And any other thing other than wrestling, you would take that as a bad thing. But when we hear that there's potential murders planned, our little ears perk right up, and we go, oh, there's going to be something fun that happens tonight.
I like to hear that. And I mean, we're not covering it, like, there's a whole nother podcast for the Biggins tournament.
Yeah.
Thing is stacked too. The teams that are in it that's a fucking great show. on the Biggins tournament. Crazy shit has happened in that time slot in past years. Like AJ Gray debuted on that show 2 years ago. Easy shit. So usually if you're going to find Kaplan on, it's an appearance during that Biggins tournament spot.
Plus the birth of Barkley Nation is going to be the new Barkley Nation. Is it going to be, 50 guys showing up, Mikey Montgomery causing IW regulars grief? What's it going to be? We had almost a whole year storyline out of some fans who came to cheer for Wes Barkley. You just never know what kind of crazy stuff's going to happen.
Well, yeah, it's a 1 year anniversary of Barkley Nation. I didn't even think about that.
2 year anniversary of Bishop Brigade, which we thought was the worst until Wes Barkley came along.
The bar has been raised.
And now they're a tag team.
Yep.
Who will be wrestling in that Chandler Biggins tournament.
Making their AIW debut as a team officially at AIW, at the show for the Biggins tournament. Thing that I want to say is these are definitely one of the best times of the year. This is the show that I always try to get like friends from out of town who are wrestling fans to come. I feel like there's a lot of, and ironically enough, a lot of them are tournaments that are popular shows in areas. Like whether it be, I know there's like a lot of deathmatch tournaments that are big either on the East Coast or for like IWA. And then I know like down in Tennessee, like they have the Scenic City Invitational, which is a whole weekend thing. And I feel like the JLIT is ours. And it has just grown and evolved. Like I remember when there was just, it sounds like I'm being old, but I just remember when it was 2 shows. And then one year they're like, oh, we're going to create a fan fest, which was basically instead of a show, they have entertainment kind of set up. That's where there was the Win a Date with Veda Scott. Both years they had it. And then there was some like game shows set up too for wrestlers just to kind of entertain the fans. And obviously if you want to meet any of the wrestlers, they were all there. And now it's turned into a show with the Chandler Biggins World Tag Team Tournament, and to honor 2 of just the legends of this area. Unfortunately, I never met JT Lightning, but you figure the legacy that, he has left behind, not only just here in this scene, but now with the world with guys like Ray Rowe and Johnny Gargano. And that all started here and through him. I wish I got to meet the dude. Obviously that wasn't, set in the cards, but then there was Biggins, and to memorialize him every year is something that I truly, truly love. Definitely come out if you're listening and you haven't bought a ticket yet, because this, comes out on Thursday, show's tomorrow. Either buy a ticket, buy it on Fite TV. Hell, it's the only way you can potentially win a front row seat to Absolution. You're not gonna want to miss it. I've had a lot of great memories JLIT weekend. Like, it does suck that we're not going to have the tailgating, because that became a fun thing. But hey, it is what it is. And come out, support a great show, support a great weekend. Come and have some fun at this fucking show. All right. With that being said, any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go? Start with Rick.
I have the contest going on. #JLIT contest. Fill out a bracket. I mean, Heavyset has been generous enough to donate probably the best prize that we're going to have. I mean, unless Stacy wins and he gets a cameo from one of the headbangers, then...
Headbanger Thrash.
Yeah, okay, then it's, 50-50. But where else are you going to, come on, you're going to get a free ticket to Absolution, plus an autographed 8x10 from Razor Sharp. What more do you want? Fill out a bracket, tag me in it at RickNelson21. You can listen to my and Razor Sharp's podcast, which is the UXWA Today. I think it's available at a place that it should be available at this point. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, yada, yada, yada. We do our thing. We got a show in Killbuck, Ohio, on the 20th of July, so that'll be a lot too. Man, just show up this weekend. This weekend's going to be so much fun. Just show up.
How about you, Stacy?
Man, if you listen to this, you know what my shit is. It's super fantastic. It's there. Go listen to it where you get your podcasts. More importantly, passes to the fucking Odeon this weekend here in Cleveland. And you don't already have plans for this weekend, fucking plans for this week. Go to JLIT. If you haven't been if you didn't go to the last show, as far as giving us people going off a balcony, one of the coolest venues that AIW's been in. Being's in like the downtown area. It's fucking great playing. Get your asses.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/wrestling. Or it's getting late for me. You can find myself Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Heavyset330. Just as you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Still have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like always, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check out our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcasting friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, The IndieCast, Center Stage, Sobros Network, UXWA Today, Big Gold Belt, The Co-Host Wrestling Show, Spotlight Series, and I Got Your 5 Stars. Check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Stash, Set Tab Photo, PowerSlam.tv, use Wrestling Cheers all one word and get your first month free, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Wrestle Void, Key on Sports, Stay Tough, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and we hope to see you all at JLIT. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and you're always glad you can. You're the way you can see.